Ayubowan, I am really privileged at this point of time to meet a veteran administrator of Sri Lanka, has more than 44 years of civil service experience. Mr. Amarasekara, former Prime Minister's Secretary. I think that position you were there for about 14 years, I suppose.
No, Secretary to Prime Minister only about 5 years.
5 years. Yeah.
But as a Secretary for various ministries, I have been there about 17 years.
So I think this is what I feel is this is a very good forum that we need to understand what this country needs. One of the things that today's reflection that I believe is whether the cost reflective pricing, whether it's really working. If I start something by saying, to the best of my knowledge, I think most of the pricing is not reflective with the real costing. Example, we know that as of today we are facing a serious problem of costing fuel prices, costing electricity prices, and whether it is reflecting the cost of the country. I thought of, to start this dialogue, I thought a small example to be taken. Say, for example, if our fuel is not priced properly, or if it is underestimated or subsidized, that costing, how does it affect to the country's economy? I thought to put it this way, sir, to start with. If we are selling a fuel at a subsidized price, the fuel costing for a taxi driver is also less. And that taxi driver is calculating his cost of calculating his rental charges or hire charges for a foreigner is also less. So a foreigner who visits Sri Lanka is receiving a taxi charge at a subsidized price.
Yes, of course.
So the foreign earning for the country is also underestimated. So what I thought is, now this really has resulted, we are giving our services underestimated cost, which is not the real revenue of the country. By doing that, the revenue is reduced, foreign currency income is reduced. So this can help, happen in the hotel rooms, or even for that matter manufacturing, for that matter export industry. So if we are not doing the proper reflective pricing, that is really reducing our income, or we are undermining our production or the service revenue for the country. What do you think, sir? I'm just thinking
what you said is quite correct. Recently, I really wrote an article also titled that to achieve a reasonable development, correct the price distortion. Because when you look at the price structure in Sri Lanka, not only the energy sector, in total, that actual cost cannot be understood in the market according to the market prices. Our market prices are very much distorted. Now, price distortion means if you are selling something below the cost in one particular product, it means we are exploiting another sector, another product, or another group of people. Without doing that, you can't sell something at a lower price. When it comes to the fuel, of course, that I have seen in these days, many people argue that the fuel prices in Sri Lanka is high. That, of course, it is true, but again, when you look at the fuel prices in the world, Because fuel is, petroleum is not a Sri Lankan product, we are importing.
Exactly.
And when you look at the fuel prices in the world, still, only very recently Sri Lankan prices came in par with the world prices. Right throughout, our prices were much below the prices in the other countries. If you look at the Indian subcontinent or the South Asia, our fuel prices was the lowest right throughout. But of course, with the last year's revision, now we are equal with the India, Pakistan, Bangladesh and those countries.
Yeah.
Because because people argue that government is getting a higher margin from that. It is true. Even the developed countries collect a higher revenue from the fuel.
Yeah.
Because it has to be there, because government is spending a lot of money for the road construction.
Exactly.
So that money should come from somewhere, because if you are spending, if you are giving the road free, then that money should come back to the government.
And those roads need to be maintained.
Yeah. So that for the vehicle users, road is free, but the whole country is paying that.
Exactly.
So like that, if you look at it, I am always telling that our prices of the rice, of course, according to our per capita income and the income level, rice price is high. But in the same time, the rice, the market price of the rice is not reflecting the actual cost of production.
Exactly. Now that's where the point is.
Cost of the water is not included at all. But water is not free. Water is paid by the whole nation. So when you give something at a lower price or subsidized price, it means you are exploiting another section somewhere else. Now electricity or the water also same. We are drinking water, we are producing at a higher cost and selling at a lower price. I don't look at that today. I can't remember the recent revisions. But till recent past, I think one unit of water, I think it means 100,000 liters, was selling at about 10 rupees. Pipe-borne water.
But purification process is itself is a huge cost.
That is a huge cost. But but that cost somewhere will have to come from somewhere. Exactly. Of course, that's a problem. People cannot afford to pay that high cost. For that, we must find another solution, not to sell at a lower price. As commercial ventures, electricity board or the petroleum corporation, water board, they must sell their product at cost reflective price. The people who cannot afford to pay that price should be supported by the treasury in a different way. They must give a sufficient subsidy or something, cash grant
for them.
Otherwise, what is the subsidizing by the manufacturers themselves will never encourage the production. So that we just look at the Air Lanka. The government is subsidizing the Air Lanka. For what? It is mainly used by the people who are traveling abroad. Foreigners or Sri Lankans who are traveling abroad. Why do we subsidize such a huge amount for that? There is no reason, because the loss means again a subsidy. All these public enterprises lot of public enterprises are making loss, huge losses. Loss means a subsidy, because that will be made by the treasury. Treasury is collecting that from the income tax or taxes from the people. So that at least subsidizing the local transport, you can understand at least it is for the local people. Subsidizing the Air Lanka, you are subsidizing a totally unwanted group. So that money will not come to our economy at all. It is totally flowing out of the country. So I don't know why this government is keeping like that. Air Lanka, we must not subsidize at all. It's a business venture. And also foreign business, it's not a local business. So like that, there are many areas in Sri Lanka where the prices have been distorted. As a result, what is happening? Resource allocation. When you look at the macroeconomy, the resource allocation also get distorted.
Exactly.
When some prices, when maybe if the petrol prices are low, what will happen? Many people jump to buy cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Spend more and more on petrol. If we can remember that, 2015, I think immediately that government came into power, the petrol prices were reduced, I think less than the water price.
Yeah.
I think water was expensive than petrol at that time. So what happened? As a result, people bought a lot of cars, and sometimes cars which are not roadworthy. And also we happen to import a lot of poor from spending foreign exchange. So what we should have done that really, instead of reducing the price, we should have used that money to settle the previous loans of the Petroleum Corporation.
Exactly.
Petroleum Corporation has borrowed heavily from the two banks. So that we should have used that money to settle those loans, but we didn't do that, but just burn that money.
Yeah.
So that is how, when you look at the system, in Sri Lanka, it is very difficult to understand what is the real economic price for anything. When the fuel is subsidized, electricity is subsidized, petrol is subsidized, water is subsidized. So that affects, this all industries and other manufacturing organizations are using that subsidized price. So then their products are not reflecting the actual price.
Exactly.
So as if we are producing for the export market, so then we are really subsidizing the foreign international consumers.
Yeah.
So that is, I think, as you said at the beginning, this price distortion is a thing that we must consider very seriously. It cannot be corrected at once.
Yeah.
It is a politically sensitive matter.
Yeah.
We can speak like this way, but it is not easy for the government, because more than I think 8 or 7 decades we have been used to this system, and it cannot go forever.
Yeah.
But that is the present economic crisis. This distorted price is a one contributory factor for the present economic
downturn. Yeah.
So that now the time has come to correct it.
Yeah.
Now what we are trying to do is, still we have. I don't think we have given enough thoughts to this issue. Still we are trying to somehow to improve our foreign reserve position and to bring some kind of a temporary relief and continue the same way as we did. But it is not answer. But again, maybe we may come out of this problem within next 2-3 years. But after another maybe 5 or 6 years or 7 years or 10 years, we will face the same problem. So there is no end to this unless we correct all the prices and allow to reflect the actual price in the market. We will not be able to, achieve the development that we expect.
And the other thing, sir, now when the cost is not reflecting the production, the GDP we calculate is not right, because it's underestimated.
Yeah.
So when we talk about internationally, our GDP is this, gross national product or gross domestic product. That is how we calculate the country's economic values. But this may not be right. Now, say, sir, you mentioned about this export market. Now, garment industry, if we take it for that matter, the fabrics are coming from overseas. And what we do is we give them to the garment factories and stitch them and send it back. So our revenue is the labor revenue.
Yeah.
So we may probably get 25 cents of US per each item that we do. And that 25 cents, our revenue, how does it reflect it? If the electricity is subsidized, the factory owner calculate the cost of the manufacturing is based on the reduced electricity cost.
Yes.
So that means again we are exporting a labor and our cost or our services underestimated price. So I think, as you rightly said, we need something seriously change in this, because otherwise our economy is not picking up.
No, when our education is true that education is free, that also we will have to maintain it.
Yeah.
But we should not allow the international market to be benefited from that.
Exactly.
So what is happening today, that we are producing, various type of professionals at without any cost to those people, but they are selling their
Services.
knowledge or the labor or whatever to the foreign countries at a lower price.
Lower price. Yeah.
So that there must be some kind of mechanism to recover. We must give the free education, but afterwards, if they are selling their skills to another country, there must be a mechanism to recover that what the people have spent.
Exactly.
Otherwise, that we are again we are subsidizing another country.
Another country.
So that some countries, the rich countries, they don't spend their national money to produce engineers, accountants, doctors. They get accountants, all the engineers or doctors from our countries at a cheaper price.
Cheap price. Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
but finally, what is happening is we are subsidizing them.
Services, our services to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that those rich countries exploiting us. Also, we are paving the way for that. No, because I do not say that we should do away with the free education or free health. We must maintain it. But in the same time, we must find out a solution to prevent flowing out of our resources out of the country.
And we should use that knowledge to earn the real money to the country.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. I think we started this dialogue. I think this is how I think we should be. We having a lot of experience, having gone through the countries, what is happening. I think this is something that we need in the country as of today, because only very few people see the reality and the real situation. And I think with your knowledge, with your experience, the immense contribution is invaluable. I think let us meet again, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.